You are now listening to the Motown Sports Talk podcast. Here's your hosts, Jordan and Dalton.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Friday, November 20th, 2020. Got a big game this weekend. It's the Lions versus the Panthers. It's going to bring us back to 500 if we can get there. This is a big game for us to get back into that playoff push if we actually think we can make a playoff push. So let's take a look at the injury report so far. We've got the Lions, who it seems like the entire team is on injury report. The biggest thing is DeAndre Swift is on concussion protocol, and he was not listed on Wednesday, which means he more than likely suffered the concussion on Wednesday. Probably not going to clear protocol before the game on Sunday, so that's going to be probably the biggest blow right there.
Right after he got named the starter and everything going forward, he gets a concussion and then is out his first game.
Exactly, yeah. Right after he starts leading the offense, making the offense look a little bit better, and he gets a concussion. But that's something you can't control. It's part of football. We're just going to have to live with it and move on, and hopefully carry on, and AP can step up in their place.
Hopefully.
Yeah, there's a lot of both the defensive ends for Carolina are on the injury report. Christian McCaffrey's already been ruled out. Teddy Bridgewater, he's questionable right now. They don't know if he's going to start, but it's leading like he's not. So we might see PJ Walker, the XFL star from last year, see if he plays. And he's another one of those dual threat quarterbacks. Even if he ends up starting, he still might be a danger to us because we all know those quarterbacks that can scramble and get out of the pocket are the ones that always fuck us over because we don't have a very good pass rush right now. But it looks as though Jared Davis has been activated off COVID reserve. I don't remember hearing anything or seeing anything about him officially being active, or I'm assuming he's been practicing. He's listed on the injury report with knee as limited practice.
I'm pretty sure it happened last Friday or something like that.
Maybe, but maybe if he hasn't, then they're going to activate him this Saturday or Sunday before the game. Either way, he's been practicing and he's limited with a knee, so I think having Gerard Davis back is going to help our pass rush again because I know they've been using him a little bit less, but when they do use him, it's in those pass rush type situations, so I think he might help that ability to get to the quarterback.
I mean, they have a good offense. Obviously, if Christian McCaffrey and Teddy Bridgewater were there, I'd be a lot more scared of this team.
Yeah, they've got two really good wide receivers too in Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson is one of those players who can stretch the field, and DJ Moore is just really fast. So we got to hope our secondary can step up. We know Jeff Okuda's been playing a lot better lately. And then obviously Tracy Walker, Deron Harmon, and Jerron Curse have been all-stars back there in the backfield for us.
I wouldn't say all-stars.
They're not all-stars, but they're definitely, the secondary is probably the strength of our team at this point right now. So with our linebackers and our defensive front not being able to get any pressure, it seems like they're the ones that can help us win the game if that is the case. So,
but I mean, they don't have the best defense. I think they're kind of ranked like in the lower league in defense.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe they're in the lower half of the league and when it comes to defense. So
their defense I'm not too scared of. Obviously, now if we don't have Kenny, DeAndre Swift, or Stafford, then I'm kind of scared. But I definitely see at least Stafford playing out of those three.
Yeah.
Kenny and Swift, I don't think they're going to play this week.
Yeah, Kenny Galladay it's looking weird. He was listed as limited practice on Wednesday, and then he was in no practice Thursday, which is really weird, unless he re-aggravated it or something, or they just gave him a random rest day, but normally Wednesdays are the rest days, so if anything, he would have been no practice.
They probably tested him out, and then he wasn't feeling it or something, so then they just, all right, we'll give you another week.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't seem like Jamal Agnew is coming back this week either. So that's another blow to our offense, but we'll just have to see again. Maybe Carry-On can actually step up. I don't know why. I know obviously they've just kind of been riding AP and Swift this whole time, but Carry-On's still a good running back. And people are saying one of the reasons we're not using him is because he's so injury prone, which I do understand. He is injury. He hasn't finished an entire season in his entire career. So the fact that we're just kind of sparingly using him, I mean, it's understandable. He still does wear that knee brace on his left knee because trying to protect it from further injury in the future. But maybe Carry-On can get some more reps, and hopefully he'll be able to step up.
I was gonna say maybe that's what they're like. Let's use Swift and AP, and then if one of them goes down with an injury, then we can start using Carry-On more.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta keep those legs fresh for later in the year for these types of situations.
Any of you haven't heard, Stafford tore a ligament in his thumb We
Yeah.
kind of talked about the injury in last podcast, but nothing was released until, I think, Monday.
He said that his test came back negative, that his hand was fine, but then it was later reported that he has an actual torn ligament in his hand. Again, we've seen this before. He played with a broken thumb. Was it 2 years ago?
I was going to say, yeah, he's a tough, and like, as you guys saw in the Washington game, didn't look like it bothered him too much. He was still throwing great passes and everything. So maybe Stafford's just better once he gets injured.
I don't know about that, but I think he just plays through adversity more than any other quarterback can. And again, I don't think anyone will ever forget how tough Stafford is when he came back with a broken shoulder and threw a game-winning touchdown in the fourth quarter against the Browns. Again, you don't really see too many quarterbacks do that. That's kind of like the Kobe moment where he tore his Achilles and came back on to shoot that free throw. So
Klay Thompson tearing his ACL and then coming back out and shooting the free throws in the final.
Yeah, same thing.
Just real quick, do want to send my prayers out to Klay Thompson and hope for a speedy recovery.
Yes, T's and P's out to Klay Thompson. He had a tore ACL last year, missed the entire year, and now he has a torn Achilles this year and missed the entire year. So T's and P's out to Klay Thompson. Hope you rest up. The Warriors did just get James Wiseman in the draft, a big man. And
they also traded for Kelly Oubre Jr.
Even though they're missing Klay Thompson, they're still obviously going to have Steph Curry, and they've got some new pieces. So the Warriors still might be pretty good this year, which I guess that kind of can transition us into the next topic. So the NBA draft was this week. Free agency starts today, I'm pretty sure. So we'll have more for you updated on Monday when we get our next podcast out, because we probably won't be able to update. Either way, we have the draft to cover, which the Pistons were probably the biggest movers in this 2020 NBA draft. They were constantly trading. We traded for the 16th pick.
And the 19th pick. And for the 16th pick, we traded a future first-round pick that is heavily protected.
For the next, 4 years in the top 16, I believe.
And then after that, for 2 more years, it's in the top 10 or 11 or something like that. And then after that, it's protected top 9. And then if it continues to work bad and we get in those, then they just get a second-round pick. And then we got Trevor Ariza's contract off of them, which Trevor Ariza is going to make $13.3 million this year. But if the Pistons decide to buy out his contract, we will only owe him only 1.8 mil of that is guaranteed.
Nice.
So we'll still save 10 million just buying out his contract and letting him walk. And then they traded the 19th pick. It was a 3-team trade with the Clippers, Nets, and us. And we traded Luke Kennard and got the 19th pick. And after the draft, then Troy Weaver went out and traded Tony Snell, Kyrie Thomas for Dwayne Dedmon, which Dwayne Dedmon, all the reports have said he's just going to be moved afterwards. So
yeah. So Troy Weaver has came in with a plan, and he is definitely clearing out contracts, clearing out old, I wouldn't say useless player, because all NBA players are not useless, but just unutilized role players for the Pistons, I guess is the best way to put it, because again, just like the Lions, they weren't utilizing some of the players well. We had some bad contracts. I am upset we got rid of Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard. I think those are 2 young players, especially Luke Kennard. He's a great shooter. He's still developing, and especially in this league, that's kind of what you need, is people who can shoot threes. Like, if you want to be able to compete.
In Troy Weaver's vision, Luke Kennard was not what he wanted, and Luke Kennard was going to want to get paid next season.
Yeah, he was coming up for a contract, so
Troy Weaver said, yeah, I'm going to get rid of you for a pick.
Get assets while we
and
can.
Get my guy. Yeah, get my guy in here that I want.
It makes sense. And like I said, that's the thing. As long as Troy Weaver, obviously, I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he clearly has a plan. It looks like he's being aggressive, which is something I don't think we've seen really any Detroit GM do in a long time.
Yeah, he came out in his press conference after the draft, and he said he wanted to be aggressive during the draft, and he's also going to be aggressive during free agency.
Yeah, we have not a lot of cap space. We're kind of middle of the range at cap space, but still, I'm sure there's going to be some aggressive names that he's going to go after. We'll see. All right, so there are some big name free agents out there that we could possibly go after. Honestly, I wouldn't mind going after Gordon Hayward, especially since we got rid of Drummond and stuff. And if he's not a max contract, obviously, if he wants that huge contract that was originally got in Boston, then I don't think we're going to be able to.
Supposedly, Atlanta wants Gordon Hayward really bad, so I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta somehow gets Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But for the Detroit Pistons, with the 7th overall pick, we drafted Killian Hayes, which love the pick.
Yeah.
He's a great point guard. He's been working with Will Bynum, ex-Pistons guard. He obviously played over in France with Sekou Namboya, and him and Sekou are really good friends. So, those two are already going to gel really well together.
And that's something I want to note too. Obviously, not every single player is going to be a Luka Doncic. When players play like that professionally overseas, and again, obviously that's not the NBA, but there is a complete different level of competitiveness when you're playing professional overseas and you're playing collegiate American sports. So I think you're just a little bit more prepared for that professionalism and like what it's actually like. Like I said, Luka was the perfect transition. He's playing professionally in Lithuania, I think is where he came from or wherever. And then he comes to the NBA and just absolutely dominates. Which, like I said, not every player is going to be Luka, but same thing with Sekou. He was playing professionally overseas, wasn't he, when we drafted him?
In France,
Yeah, same. And he's not an all-star, but he definitely has the potential. He look like he's going to be an all-star, give him a couple of years. So I'm really excited with the Killian Hayes, and I really think he's going to be a big addition, especially because we really need a point guard besides Derrick Rose.
I was going to say he's going to be a big addition for us and a cornerstone going forward into what Troy Weaver wants his team to be with drafting a point guard his first year. So the man to run his team basically in his first year. So then with the 16th pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Isaiah Stewart. He's a big body center that was the best post scorer in the NCAA last season.
I believe.
Obviously, that means he's a paint clogger like Drummond, can't space the floor, can't shoot threes. He's got a little bit of a mid-range, but not too well. But he has a high work ethic, a high motor, is very good at offensive boards and protecting the paint. So obviously that will be something nice. I mean, I just kind of see him as like an Andre Drummond 2.0 right now, from what I've heard about him.
That's what I was kind of upset too, because I was like, great, we're just going to get another person, like exactly like you said, just to clog up the paint, just to just be in the way, basically. And especially when we don't have a lot of shooters, and it seems like a lot of the players are going to be driving to the hoop. Doesn't seem like that's a smart play, but who knows? He's still young. Maybe he can develop a three, and maybe he can start developing an outside shot that can help us out.
I definitely thought Xavier Tillman would have been a good fit for us. He was amazing, averaged 13 and 10 in Michigan State. He was a big that could go out there and shoot threes and space the floor. I definitely thought he was going to be a first-round pick. I definitely did not think he was going to fall to the second round. Obviously, good for him for going to team up with Jaren Jackson Jr., which those two together in Memphis might end up being good because they were teammates in Michigan State, Xavier Tillman's first year. So now being back together, which they both seem to be very excited about being back together, I think those two are going to be a good front court together.
Well, you're just biased because you're a big State fan.
But Xavier Tillman averaged 13 and 10, was Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He can space the floor. He's a big body. Like,
either way, we'll see. Yeah, Memphis Grizzlies, they're going to be good. They're another one of those teams that have just been quietly collecting high round draft picks for the last few years, and eventually they're all going to be playing well at the same time. So it's just going to be a matter of time before then.
And then with the 19th pick, they drafted, gonna probably butcher this name, but it's like Sumbi Bay or defense.
Like, as we mentioned in our last episode about the Pistons, it seems like defense has been one of the biggest struggles for the Pistons. So if we can get that, we can, and even if we could just become a good defensive team that isn't all about shooting threes, but we can stop the perimeter and stop the other team from shooting threes, I mean, that's just as good too.
And then they traded for a second-round pick, which I so thought they were going to draft Cassius Winston there because there was reports that Detroit was very high in Cassius Winston and wanted to get a second-round pick to draft him. But they ended up drafting Saban Lee, or I think that's how you say his name. He's a point guard out of, I can't think of the college, but got a lot of speed. Obviously, like, has a lot of versatility and stuff. He's the one that kind of reminds me of Russell Westbrook, watching his highlight.
Yeah.
Obviously, just a guard that will probably end up just being in the G League for the year, maybe get called up, but we'll probably spend most of the year down in the G League.
So I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. This is the first time I've been excited for Pistons in a long time. I was kind of excited when they got Blake Griffin just because I thought he might be able to help get us that playoff pedigree. So I was watching a little while after Blake, but then it was just seemed like...
I mean, we did go to the playoffs that season with Blake.
Yeah, we just got swept.
Yeah, and then he obviously got injured and
he hasn't looked
play all last season.
Which, that's the thing, Blake Griffin, when he's healthy, he still is an all-star, but he just can't stay healthy. That's the thing.
I think a healthy Blake Griffin on this team is gonna, like, I think we're gonna be a surprise team this year.
God, I can't talk. I think that's one of the reasons we didn't get rid of Blake or Derrick Rose is because with all these young guys, they want good veteran leaders in the locker room.
Troy Weaver already said he loves Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose, and they're they're a piece that he wants going forward, so he wasn't going to get rid of them.
Exactly, yeah. Because like I said, just having those veterans in the locker room that are both have had lots of success in their career. They've both been in tons of playoff rounds. Neither one of them have obviously won, but they've had playoff success, and they're both seasoned vets who've been in the league since 2010, 2011. They've both been in. I think they got drafted.
This was drafted in 2008. Blake Griffin was drafted in 2009.
So they've both been in the league for 10 years, 11 years.
They're both seasoned. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
I'm excited about this team.
It's good to have veteran leadership like that, because I've heard it again. I reference Pat McAfee all the time, but he said it. He said he's heard from thousands of coaches that when you, or any rookie in any sport, basically when you first enter the league, find a veteran and just tuck yourself in their back pocket and just kind of watch them, learn from them, and coaches always say there's a reason they're still in the league. There's a reason they've been doing this as long as they have. So learn from them, learn their habits, learn everything, and just try to do it. So again, I think having Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin, especially obviously Derrick Rose for the point guards and the guards, and then Blake Griffin for the front court. But yeah, again, those are going to be two great veterans for their young guys, and I'm excited. I honestly think I don't think we're going to go on a huge run, but same thing with the Lions. If we can make the playoffs and just win one round in the playoffs, I'll consider that successful. Considering we haven't even won a playoff game since what, 2012? No, not even that.
2009, I believe, was our last time.
Yeah, so it's been a long time since we've even won a playoff game.
Hey, they've at least made it.
Yeah, we've made it at least. Just like the Lions, we've made it a few times, but haven't won shit.
Oh.
All right, NBA free agency starts today. We'll have more recap on that on Monday. We will also have our thoughts and reviews of the Carolina game. Dalton, what are your thoughts, predictions for the Carolina game?
I'll say a W.
And you know me, I say W every week. Doesn't matter who we're playing. But all right, we'll have more for you on Monday, and we'll thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next time.